Welcome to SOS Fragrance Reviews. I'm Rob, aka DJ Ville. Thank you so much for checking the channel out. I'm about to get into spring 2020 fragrance suggestions. If you watch my channel, you know I don't really do a top 10, top 20. I just suggest fragrances. I know it's weird right now with everything going on, COVID-19, and everyone's kind of like in self-quarantine, self-isolation. And this is like a first for so many of us. I think first for everyone for the most part. And it feels kind of strange, and just try to stay sane, try to stay normal. So I just wanted to do the review anyway, even though I feel like it's kind of like insignificant in a sense. But wanted to put it out there for you folks, and hopefully something in the suggested fragrances sparks something for you. So let's get into it. First up is one of my all-time favorites from Alain Delon, Equitas. This is like a 1987 release. Beautiful floral fragrance. You've got aldehydes, you've got oak moss, pine, rose. It's just not like anything that's out right now. Even when it came out back in the day, it wasn't like anything that was out at the time. It just smelled totally different. It was green, it was floral, but masculine. And it's a fragrance that I highly recommend. It's no longer in production, but it can still be found. I'm not the type of person that's strictly into what's current. I'm into vintage fragrances. I'm into fragrances that, you know, are rare. I'm into, you know, left field fragrances. I'm into common, you know, everyday, you know, mainstream fragrances also, but I just don't go with, you know, everything that's just popping for the moment. So, you know, got to suggest this one. I think it's a really good fragrance. If you do any research, check the reviews on this fragrance. It's very highly regarded. Again, Equitas, Alain Delon. Here's one from the House of Guerlain. This is L'Homme Ideal Cologne. I actually had this fragrance right after it came out. I had a 3.4 bottle and didn't really like it, honestly. I had it, I must have kept it for about a month, and I sold it. And then just recently, they stopped making it. And I said, let me go grab a bottle before I can't find it again. Even though it wasn't something that I liked that much, I wanted to take the time to see if I, you know, could try to spend some time with it and if it would grow on me. So it's a fragrance that I like. I've come to like it. I don't love it. Something about because it's like musk, tonka, and citrus. You know, it's a cologne. It's not really heavy, but it's something about that tonka and citrus. For me, it doesn't work as well as I would like it to. But I know that it's a fragrance that garners compliments, and it's one that a lot of people really enjoy. A lot of people say it's effervescent. It's got like this fresh sparkle to it, and you know, you'll see a lot of people speak very highly of it, and that's cool. It's just not my favorite, but it is a fragrance I wanted to suggest because a lot of folks like it, so you might really enjoy this fragrance also. Again, from the House of Guerlain, L'Homme Ideal Cologne, 2015 release. From the House of Carna, this is Maglium. This is a 2018 release. This is different, in my opinion. Now, it's cinnamon, and you might say, well, cinnamon is not really that different. It's kind of common right now, but actually it's a really like dry cinnamon. It's more on the aromatic side than on the sweet, you know, really mass appealing side. It's got this dry aromatic feel. It's got like some nutmeg. It's got some resins. It's not like Spice Bomb. It's not like some of the other fragrances that might utilize cinnamon currently. It's got a dryness to it. I don't want to say it reminds me of Big Red Gum, because that would be a turnoff to a lot of folks, but it's just something about it that I think would work good in spring. and I enjoy it actually. I've got a few like cinnamon fragrances, Spice Bomb Potion by D Squared, and a few other fragrances, but this one is just a little bit different. It's the driest of them all, and well, see if you can get a sample. Check the reviews. You might dig this one. Um, I enjoy it. Maglium from the House of Carner, from the House of Ormond Jane. This is Amber Royale. All right, this is a 2016 release. Different than any amber fragrance you've probably checked ever. This is just so different. I mean, most ambers tend to be like this really warm, cozy, kind of thick type fragrance, and this is just the opposite. It's a very, very light, almost watery like amber, which feels totally different. And then it feels like it's got this nice, like smooth jasmine in it. But then when you check the note breakdown, jasmine isn't even a note that's listed. This has actually got ambroxan in it, osmanthus, and a few other notes. And I'm like totally confused by it, but I really enjoy the way it smells. It's really like different. It's unlike any amber fragrance most of you guys have checked out in the past. It's just got this wateriness to it, which sounds totally crazy because you don't think that when you think of an amber fragrance, but do your research, check it out, see if you can get a sample. The only fragrance that I can think of that it kind of reminds me of is Sicily by Mancera. And Sicily was a fragrance that I actually owned for a very short period of time and then sold it because sometimes jasmine can smell kind of like old lady-ish to me. And this one, the way it's constructed, it doesn't really do that. It's got a lightness to it, a wateriness to it. It's just got this polish and smoothness to it that is not like another amber fragrance that I've smelled. It doesn't really come off like it's an amber fragrance. So if you can get a sample, again, get a sample, check the reviews, smell it first, see if it's something you might like. But I really enjoy it, and I think it's a great fragrance, especially for spring. So again, Ormond Jane Amber Royale. Going back to 82, please don't laugh. Please don't laugh. Drakkar Noir. All right, I know folks are gonna laugh, but I've got like vintage bottles. These are not like, current bottles. Like if you are familiar with the fragrance at all, this is like a probably early 90s bottle, maybe even late 80s, and it's still fresh. And this is like Drakkar as I remember it, and really well done, like lavender, leather, just multitude of notes. And it was the fragrance of the 80s and the 90s. I know a lot of folks think it's played out, and it might not even be a type of fragrance you would think works in the spring, but I'm in the Midwest. And I mean, it was just 43 today. You know what I mean? So the weather is like all over the place. We'll get some warm days, some really cool days. And I just wanted to bring this one out, man. It's like if you can get your hands on a vintage bottle of Drakkar Noir, remember it's got to be produced or distributed by Cosmere. All right, you may be able to see that on the back of this bottle. I don't know if it'll pick that up or not, but you might see Cosmere Incorporated towards the bottom. I think I caught it for a second. Cosmere, man, that's who you want to, make sure is on the bottle because you're going to be getting the better juice. What's out right now, man, it's trash. But again, I know a lot of folks are laughing, giggling, whatever. I don't care. Drakkar Noir, solid, killer from back in the day. I still enjoy it. So, got to bust out a rose fragrance. And this is D Squared Royal Black. This is rose, leather, and incense. Incredible smelling fragrance. I don't know if this one is still in production or not, but perfect for the spring. It's a good performance. It doesn't have incredible projection. It's more of a moderate projecting fragrance, but I think definitely one for like dates, close encounters, stuff like that. So if you can get your hands on it, I highly recommend it. Royal Black, D Squared. Another flashback fragrances. This one is from '93 from the house of Francesco Smalto. This is Malto Small Toe. This is pretty much a lavender balm for the most part. It's kind of got a harsh opening, but if you get past the opening, man, it's really smooth, um, aromatic lavender. I think this is a very enjoyable fragrance, very masculine fragrance, and it's not really dated in my opinion. I think it's one that if you like vintage fragrances, I think you would enjoy it. It's not the flavor of the now, but it's still a well done men's masculine vintage fragrance. So if you're inclined, check this one out. Malto Smalto from the house of Francesco Smalto. From the house of Carolina Herrera, this is Central Park, CH Man. This is a flanker to CH Man. Ginger, citrus, green notes. It kind of took the original CH Man and made it a little green. And it's kind of closer to that original formulation of CH Men in regard to its strength and lasting power. So this is one, if you do your research, you'll see that it's actually highly regarded. And if you can get your hands on it, I would think you might like it. It's kind of a new school, now school type fragrance. I think a lot of cats would like it. A lot of mass appeal. If you can get your hands on it, check it out. Again, from 2016, the house of Carolina Herrera, CH Men, Central Park. Totally unique fragrance from 92 from the house of Yope. What about Adam? This is like mint, tomato leaf. It's green. It kind of has like a melon feel to it. It's not like really anything that's out there today. I know a lot of times the house of Yope doesn't really get a lot of props, but they actually do have some great fragrances in their catalog. And if you do research on this fragrance, you'll see that this one is highly regarded. Gonna pay about $100 for it, somewhere in that ballpark, 75 to $100 if you find a bottle, whether it be a 1.7 or 3.4. But great fragrance. It's got average performance, but the smell is just totally unique. So again, if you can get your hands on it, I highly recommend it. What about Adam from the house of Yope? From the house of Byredo, this is Baldy Afrique. And I've actually got this. This is the cat hairs all over this thing. Forgive me. These are like the travel sprayers, and I think they're about like 10 or 11 mil each. So I've got a nice amount of juice on this one. This one is like a dry, kind of dusty, smoky with a little bit of floral sweetness in the fragrance. It's one that I really think is incredible, great for springtime, unisex, but I think it's a masculine smelling fragrance. I don't think you should worry about it being unisex. A lot of guys I think would love this fragrance if they put it on skin. So if you can, get a sample of this one, I think it's pretty easy to get samples of this one. Get a sample, check it out. Baldy Afrique from the house of Byredo. From the house of Creed, Vetiver Geranium. Very classy, green, clean, slightly smoky, but it's just really, I think it's really almost like a perfect fragrance for spring and summertime. It doesn't really get much better than this. This one was gifted to me. I'm so grateful that I've got this in the collection. I'll always have it in the collection. It's that good. It's just perfect. It's the perfect combination of like a little bit of like grassy, dry vetiver, geranium gives it like a little floral texture component, and then it's got like a little bit of like a slight hint of like smoke, believe it or not, in the fragrance, and it's just perfect. It's really like almost a perfect springtime, summertime fragrance, unisex fragrance. I really think a lot of you guys would really enjoy this if you got your nose on it. From the Aqua Original line from Creed, this is Vetiver Geranium. From the house of Paco Rabanne, this is 1 Million Cologne. I know a lot of folks don't really like this fragrance, but I really, really enjoy this one. Yes, it's overly sweet. Yes, it's kind of bubblegummy. That's not really my thing, but there's something about the way they put this fragrance together with like the addition of like this like rose like note, like floral note mixed in with like this like the sweet of 1 million. I know a lot of folks think this is juvenile, they don't enjoy it, synthetic, all of that stuff, but there's just something about the way this smells. I mean, it's kind of like juicy fruit gum to a certain extent, but then it's got this really nice floral component on top of it that just makes it like, you know, I think a very enjoyable fragrance. And to me, because it is kind of a bold fragrance, it's all about the sprays. Like I only go like one, maybe two sprays top. So it's got that sweetness, but it's got the floral component on top. And if you spray it just right, I feel like it's the right combination, just enough projection. It it garners compliments for me. And a lot of it too is like the way it smells on my skin. So, hey, if you can check this, and I think this one actually is no longer in production, but if you can, get your nose on it, 1 million cologne is kind of a mainstream type fragrance, but I think, you might find this interesting as a springtime fragrance. 1 million cologne, Paco Rabanne. From the house of Alfred and Huff, number 3. I've been pushing this one for a few years now. This one is unique in the world of Invictus and Dylan Blue and all these other fragrances. To me, this fragrance stands totally on its own. It's vetiver. It's got violet leaf. It's kind of got like a metallic note to it. It's totally interesting. It's the absinthe. It's like nothing really that's out there right now. Nobody ever really talks about this fragrance. I don't know if it's still in production, but I see bottles floating around on eBay, and I've caught a couple of bottles now. I was able to score, so I've got more than one bottle at this time, and I've seen it go from like I've seen them like be like it's been like the $40 to $50 range. So you can score this at a very reasonable price. This has got solid performance, solid projection, and it smells totally unique. I mean, the way they've got the vetiver with like this metallic note and like the violet leaf and some of the other things going on with the fragrance. It doesn't smell like your typical, you know, 2020 or 2019 or late 2000s type fragrance. It's just totally different. And I highly suggest if you can get your nose on it, get your nose on it, because I think you might really dig this one. Alfred and Huff, number 3. From the house of YSL, L'Homme Ultime. This is a flanker. 2016 release, if I'm not mistaken. This kind of like took that ginger note that was the original essence of L'Homme, and they added like some rose to it. It's got a different vibe to it. It's a little bit more sharp now, in my opinion. The rose kind of like changes it. It's a perfect fragrance for springtime. It's just got this certain like floral component, this sharpness to it beyond like just the ginger that just makes it like perfect for springtime. So it's a little bit more interesting than the average designer fragrance that's out there. I think if you check the reviews, you'll see that a lot of people, thought this was a really good flanker for the L'Homme line, and they pulled it. From what I've been seeing online, this one has been pulled. It's no longer in production. So if you can get your hands on it, I think you'll dig it. L'Homme Ultime from YSL. From the house of Cartier, this is Limbaugh. This is a 2016 release. I actually picked this fragrance up when it first dropped, and I'm gonna be honest, I really haven't, inserted this into my rotation really heavily, but I have been wearing it, off and on, and it's one that I've come to like, where when I first got it, I just thought it was okay. I was like, I don't really know what I think about it. The way it smells is kind of like, it's a light, almost transparent, like honey fragrance, but it's also got like some other florals with the honey. So it just feels different. But the more I've worn it, the more I've come to like it. And I do know this is a great fragrance for springtime. And because it's so restrained, you could wear it to work if you chose to wear it to work, or whenever we get a chance to go back to work. But definitely you could wear it around the house. I think that this is one that would garner compliments. So, because it's so unique, it's so different. Check it out. I think a lot of folks are starting to come around to this fragrance, and I'm starting to see more and more positive, comments about this fragrance from different people that I didn't really expect. So, check this one out. Limbaugh from the House of Cartier. Really nice release. Last but not least, from the House of Rojas, Moustache, the EDP. This was a recent acquisition for me. I got this one, I want to say either early this year or late last year around Christmas time. And it's kind of got that same like lipsticky vibe that's kind of popular because of Dior and Givenchy Gentleman, but it does its own thing. The citrus is more pronounced. It's a little bit more spicy than those fragrances, and I think that it would be a great option for like the cooler spring days. You want to dress up, you want to impress. Check this one out. I think that this would be a perfect fragrance for that. Moustache, Rojas Mayan. This is the EDP. That's it for you guys. I hope you enjoyed these suggestions. Feel free to comment. I want to do more videos more frequently, but this is a crazy time we're in right now. As I get the time, I'll put the videos out. I'm really just trying to, get work done at home, spend time with fam, and, just try to make heads or tails out of this crazy situation we're going through. But again, as always, I thank you guys so much for checking out the video. Stay safe, and I'll see you later.